So we're back again. Today we're going to teach you how to do the most easy, perfect, non-failable French bread recipe that I found on the internet, tweaked a bit, and worked out the kinks to make sure that it's perfect every single time. You just have to follow the hints of my previous video that showed gluten-free hints and what I'm telling you now. So for the base for this French bread recipe is 1 cup of tapioca starch, 1 cup of brown rice flour, and half a cup of sorghum flour. And you would measure it like that, not packed, leveled off. And in that you would also put in the bowl, you would also put 1 level tablespoon of xanthan gum and 1 teaspoon of white salt. So, sorry, I thought I was prepared, obviously not. Mix this up in the bowl, just with a spatula. Then you would add 3 room temperature egg whites that are put in a bowl with 2 tablespoons of olive oil and 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. So that would be added to your bowl of dry ingredients. Now in this bowl, for your rising, you have 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast and 1 1/2 cups of water at 110 degrees and 2 tablespoons of white sugar. So you would add that, and let it sit. So while it's sitting, I'll give you a couple hints for the bread machine. Same deal, same recipe. In the bread machine, you would put your dry ingredients, you would put your egg whites, oil, vinegar. Put that in with your dry ingredients in the bread machine. But you would let your yeast rise. You would get it to rise outside the machine. So mix this up with a spatula and let your yeast rise. And then once it gets to the foamy part, then, well, I'll show you in a minute what it looks like. Okay, I'm back. If this clipping up all these movie takes works, I'll be so surprised. So this is what the yeast is supposed to look like when you put it in the dry ingredients for your mixer. And then I will come back again and let you see what it looks like when it's mixed. Okay, we're back. The dough was mixed in my mixer, with a dough hook for 4 minutes. Now this is the consistency that the bread gets. It's thick, it's fluffy, but it's nothing that would stand on its own. This dough is also, as you can see, it has lumps of dark things, is a fantastic loaf as being a base, like a cookie base. I don't eat a lot of bread around the house during the week because I'm around bread all day long, most of the week. So, but my favorite is cranberry cinnamon. And this one, with the basic recipe, you add 3/4 of a cup of dried cranberries and a teaspoon of cinnamon, and you have my very popular cranberry cinnamon bread. But this recipe, you can also add sauteed onions with parsley, oregano. You can add cheese. You can add chopped olives and cheese. As long as everything that you add doesn't measure more than 3/4 of a cup. The dough seems to have a problem when you add more than that. Now, if you're going to add stuff like raisins and cinnamon or cranberries and cinnamon, cinnamon. You have to also figure that the bread's going to take longer than it usually does to bake because it's going to be more dense. And those raisins or the cranberries are going to be, are going to exude moisture, and you're going to have to compensate for that. So after you have it in the pan, like that, you take a wet spoon and you smooth out the surface. Like I said before, the gluten-free bread, is very sticky. So you would have it smoothed out like that. Now this is one recipe that you can double, triple, quadruple. I do it up to 10 times, and it's always the same every time. It ramps up fantastic. So you take this, and you get your plastic container with a lid, and just leave it somewhere for half an hour to 40 minutes until it doubles in size. Okay, so the bread weighed in with the weight of the pan at 1.4 kilograms. So it was baked at 350 degrees in the convection oven for 1 hour and 10 minutes. And this is what the cranberry cinnamon bread looks like. It is awesome. Yeah, freezes well. Get about 17 slices out of each loaf. And like I said, absolutely amazing bread. So try the recipe. I'm going to have the recipe at the markets for the next 2 weeks. And if you have any questions or what have you, get a hold of me. Either comment on YouTube or my email address. I hope you enjoyed. It is a fantastic bread. And it's not that scary to do gluten-free. You just need a couple hints. Okay? Take care.